This video is brought to you by Brilliant. In front of me are two devices that scream mobile gaming royalty. The brand new Asus ROG 9 and the ROG 9 Pro. Designed with gamers in mind, these phones pack the kind of specs that can make flagships, shiver out there. But here's the thing, I'm not a hardcore mobile gamer. In fact, I'm not a mobile gamer at all. As more of a mainstream smartphone user, naturally I was curious, could I actually use the ROG 9 as my daily without feeling daunted nor needing to explain to my wife why my phone needs a fan cooler?
Urgent update, and be prepared to confront a new crisis.
Okay, so that was by far the best animation and introduction to a phone in my life. What I can tell you from the experience is, first of all, the speakers are mind-blowing, and second, the vibration on this in combination with the super punchy sound is it's amazing. I can't wait to set this up and actually run some interesting titles on it. So, after having spent the better part of a week, maybe a little bit more with those phones, I have some thoughts and some stories. But before that, allow me to set the stage with some impressive numbers. The ROG lineup comes in two versions and two distinct colors. The base ROG 9 is available in Storm White and Phantom Black, while the ROG 9 Pro sticks with the old business black. For the truly committed, there is a third option, the Edition Bundle, which throws in asus's latest generation Aero Active cooler. Think of this as the ultimate go big or go home gaming bundle. Now, if you've never seen a phone like this, you might be surprised to witness that in addition to the traditional USB port, there's also an extra USB-C port right smack in the middle of the phone. This port is there to help you top up the device at max speed while playing the most demanding of games. That, and of course, attaching the Aero Active Cooler X Pro that I just mentioned. This cooler can be powered by the phone itself, or power and charge the phone via an additional dedicated port, which is on the bottom, and aside from the cool lights that it emits, there's also a nifty kickstand. The fan can also be left on auto or manually adjusted to almost hovercraft experience. I can of course plug a charging cable to the cooler itself and take advantage of the additional buttons on the back here, which work regardless if there's a cable connected or not. And finally, there's a 3.5mm jack should you require that. But what impresses me more is something Asus calls bypass charging, which is super clever. So whenever you have this device plugged in via the cooler or the phone itself, you can determine whether or not the battery should be charged or the device should be treated as pretty much a standalone device. So it's bypassing the battery, not putting any strain on it, not trying to top it up or charge it, but just providing enough juice for the whole system to run while you have a long gaming session. Just a quick side note, this widget right here is called Glimpse, and it piqued your interest in my last video, and I know I'll be getting a lot of questions about it. It is my first Android widget, and if you want to support the channel, you can grab it yourself by following the link below. If not, that's totally fine. You can just subscribe to the channel, because why not? When it comes to specs, both devices are powered by the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite SoCs, delivering cutting-edge improvements in CPU, GPU, and NPU performance. It is the kind of power that makes even the A18 Pro chip look over its shoulder. To put it into perspective, the ROG 9 Pro features the fastest RAM available, packing up a punch to a staggering 24 GB. Combine that with up to 1 TB of blazing fast UFS 4.0 storage, and you've got a pocket-sized powerhouse that seems almost impossible to beat, kind of like an arcade in your pocket. With Asus and the ROG lineup, it is not just about raw specs, it's about maintaining that performance over time. The phone isn't just built for short bursts of power, it's designed for sustained gaming sessions, delivering hours of high frame rates without missing or skipping a beat. To put it into perspective, over 4.5 hours of heavy gaming without overheating translates to more than 26 hours of regular daily use, or something like 22 plus hours of video streaming. In simpler terms, a solid 2 days of use without needing to scramble for a charger. That is impressive by any standard. And all that happens on a stunning 6.7-inch 185Hz screen. Crazy, right? Here's the kicker. The LTPO Samsung panel adapts between 1 Hz and 120 Hz for most tasks, conserving battery when asus's Gaming Genie, which is their gaming assistant, isn't active. But when gaming, it can ramp up to those impressive 185 Hz, which when paired with the 720 Hz touch sampling rate means lightning fast response times. Add to that a super bright 2500 nits display, and you've got a package that is not just about performance. It's an experience on its own, and it is great by any standards, no matter how conservative one might be. Also, can we just give a shout out to the charger that is included in the box of every ROG 9. Typing, replying to messages, and consuming data is an absolute pleasure. So is in fact learning via Brilliant, which is a platform designed to be uniquely effective. With Brilliant, I can build critical thinking skills through problem solving, not memorizing. The data course and exploring data visually, for example, helps me understand, parse, and visualize massive datasets, making them easier to interpret. And you know what? I'm actually working with real datasets from sources like Airbnb, Spotify, Starbucks, and more. It is perfect for learners of any level, as there's a full suite of new content covering data visualizations, algorithm, regression models, and more. Each Brilliant lesson is filled with hands-on problem solving that allows you to play with concepts, which is a method proven to be 6 times more effective than watching lecture videos. You can learn and build knowledge a little every day for both personal and professional growth, which is much better than just mindless scrolling. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/ThisIsE, scan the QR code on your screen, or simply click on the first link in the description below, and you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Real old school nerds like me can appreciate the fact that I can play games like Snake Venture or Aero Invaders on the back of the device. Asus calls this unique rear display anime vision, the purpose of which is to showcase each ROG owner his or hers unique style and personality. On the standard ROG 9, the display features 85 programmable mini LEDs, while the Pro version has 648, and those pixels on both devices can be utilized for things like notifications, calls, or simply program them to display, let's say, a personal message. Even with those mini LEDs on the back, this phone still remains the most impressive device when it comes to battery life. The 5800 mAh capacity in combination with the efficient chip might even beat the S24 Ultra in both screen on time and standby modes. The 65-watt hypercharge adapter can top up either of those phones from 0 to 100% in just 46 minutes. 15 watts wireless charging is also present, so no compromises here. What might be more impressive than the battery of those devices are the way they sound, or the sound they produce. To this day, I haven't heard a better sounding phone. Super rich and powerful on its own, and unmatched should I decide to plug in the cooler, which has a built-in subwoofer. In addition, this phone has the most comprehensive audio system available. High-res audio, Snapdragon sound, aptX lossless audio, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. If that's not enough, there is a software volume splitter that allows the adjustment of individual games, and get this, the first-party cases are equipped with a channel at the bottom that redirects the sound from the bottom speaker to the front, effectively creating a dual front-facing speaker setup. Talking about accessories, I was able to spend some time with a few of ROG's first-party cases, including this chill case, which has a specialty cooling material on the inside that can lower the back cover temperature up to 17%. Pretty impressive. The optional ROG Tessin foldable gaming controller, by the way, is equally impressive, and it is something that I'm permanently keeping in my EDC. Oh, and by the way, all of these cases are interchangeable because both the standard ROG and the Pro are the exact same shape and size. So, fantastic. Furthermore, the ROG 9 software, which is based on Android 15, is a standout on its own, offering very deep customization. To me, it's a bit of a blend between iOS, Pixel, and One UI, with additional features like Edge Tools, which is very convenient when multitasking. Gamers will love Armory Crate, which acts as a game launcher and a central hub for gaming settings and features like anime vision, cooler controls, and more. The ROG 9 also adds tools for pros like X-Sense for auto loot collection and X-Capture for recording key moments. On top of everything, AI is very much present here as well, adding a layer of practicality and convenience like voice cancellation during calls, code translation and transcription, AI-powered wallpaper generation, and of course, circle to search. My favorite has to be the system-wide semantic search though. It's incredibly handy, letting me find what I'm looking for even if I can't quite remember what it's called. Handling this phone over a week has been an absolute pleasure. Everything works and performs as smooth as butter, including the under-display fingerprint sensor. I think for the most part, this phone can be a huge reminiscence of my S24 Ultra experience. It is just as big and just as immersive to use, but more powerful and gamery. Of course, it is not perfect. For starters, there's no eSIM support, which was a bit of a shocker to me at first. As far as I know, eSIM is supported in some Asia regions, but not in North America nor Europe. eSIM aside though, the biggest compromise owning this phone would be the camera. The difference between the Pro model and the standard ROG 9 lies in the omission of the telephoto lens, which on the lesser model is replaced with kind of a useless, in my opinion, 5-megapixel macro such. Both devices have a 32-megapixel front-facing camera, and both phones can be considered an okay shooters for many. To be more accurate, I don't see Asus making an actual compromise with the hardware aspect, but rather staying behind when it comes to post-processing. There are things like portrait video, photo presets, and cool other gimmicks like using air triggers, camera control, but my hopes for this camera improving over time via software updates remains. Talking about software, Asus will be offering 2 major OS updates and 5 years of security search for a price model, which I'll lay out on the screen for you to pause on if necessary. Considering the bleeding edge tech that is inside, embodying not only an optimized thermal efficiency but also ensuring the device remains free of cutouts, enabling IP68 dust and water resistant, I think the price is expected. But my question remains, all the power and gaming pedigree aside, is this phone easy to live with? Can it be used as any other mainstream device, or is it too, sporty? Perhaps the best way that I can describe it is as a very fast sports car that you can actually live with and drive daily. It's immensely powerful, yet very tame. It's not shouting in people's faces, "Ah, look at me." If I turn off anime vision and skin it to a more traditional Android theme, especially with the chill case, it is very much a sleeper device. A device you can take to the racetrack once you get off work and really take it to town. Too bad the camera is not as stellar as the rest of the package, but hey, pretty much any sports car out there has a stiff suspension. If you enjoyed this video, then you should definitely check out, just as quirky but more mainstream device, the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Like and subscribe to the channel as well as my newsletter, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is E, over and out. I love this thing.